What's going on, guys? It's Alec Karam, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on proper station management. For the proper station management, we're going to be using this area here, the black hole suns 4 and 5, because that's where we have most of our data. So as a start off, you want to have your minimum volume set to none, so then you can see what is currently in this area that they are lacking. And it looks like they're lacking quantum tubes, microchips, energy cells, food rations, and smart chips. So in these two zones, they're lacking these 5 items. So based on this, it looks like the best lucrative one is going to be smart chips. So that's what we're going to be building as a station example. So I'm going to select that, and then you can see they actually have a place here that sells a lot, but they're not really transporting it, I guess.
Try again.
I don't know why they're not just transporting that. So you could essentially just trade that, but you're still not making that much money. So you kind of look for that's something that's very profitable. Like, I don't know why these places are not. Oh, there we go. They're microchips. They're not making any microchips in this area. So even though they have 670 here, there's nobody trading in this area. We can zoom out a little bit, but I don't have information on those areas. I only have information on this area. So most likely there's not going to be any microchips in the area. It looks like we may have some over here in this area. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to say, hey, there's no microchips in this area. So we're going to take that market and we're going to build the microchips for ourselves. One thing that we need to do is we need to go get the production module blueprints. There's 2 ways you can get it. You can get it by stealing from another microchip production facility, or you can purchase it from, or you can get it from a faction rep. So we're going to head on over here to this faction representative, and we're going to pick up the items that we need to make our microchips factory. All right, so we're going to go head out of the ship, and we're going to go down into the elevator, and we're going to head on over to the representative. And normally, whenever you go to these faction representatives, you should have a decent amount of reputation. If you don't have the required reputation,
It's good to see you,
some of the
friend.
blueprints will be locked, and you won't be able to access them. So because I don't have a good hero or standing with these people, I can't get this electronics production blueprint. But that's not what we're going for. We're going for the microchip production, which is available for 5 million. So we're going to pick up the microchip production. Once we get this, we want to
Good luck
check
out there.
a wiki. Go up here to the encyclopedia, and you're going to go to your station modules, production modules, and microchip production. This is going to tell you what resources it uses. And these resources, as you can see here, it's 50 energy and 200 silicon wafers every 10 minutes. In order to get an accurate rating, you want to make sure that you do it based off of the product per hour. So you'd want 1200 and 300. So you want to go based off of the resources per hour, not the actual uses. Always go based off of hour, because that'll tell you the exact amount of wares that you want to use. So looking at this, we're going to need silicon wafers and energy cells. So to make sure that our entire station is autonomous, we want to talk to her again. We're going to buy up the energy cell production, which I believe I start with one. Yeah, I start with it already. And then we also need to get the silicon wafer production. We're going to purchase that, and then we can go look at it again. This is just like the kind of workflow that you want to do when you're new, so you can understand stuff and know what you need to do. So now we have the energy cell, which is just a passive gainer. You can see here that it doesn't require anything except for sunlight. And then for the silicon wafers, you want to look at the cycles per hour and then the resources that it makes. So it takes 1,800 energy cells and 4,800 silicon. So silicon is a base mining resource. So you can get a couple miners and have them go doing silicon runs to be able to fund this. So based on all of this information, if we go over to the microchip factory, we can see that we're going to need 1,200 silicon wafers an hour and 300 energy per 1 hour. So if we go back over here, this makes 2140 an hour. So if we do the math on that, we would need 2 silicon wafer productions if we were going to double this production. That would be the most efficient. It would be 2 microchips. So it to be as optimal as possible, we would want to have 2 silicon wafer productions and 2 microchip productions. So that would be 24, actually be three microchips. So it'd be 36, and this would be 42. So we would want 3 microchips and 2 silicons, and that would be optimal for there. The energy cells is based off of your location. So the default for 100% solar in an or 100% solar coverage in an area, you're getting 10,500. If you have more, it'll increase by that much. So if you have 10% more, it'll be 10% more of this, which is 1,500 or 1,050. So you want to just keep an eye on your location of where you're getting energy cells. So based on these variables, it looks like we would only need 1 energy cell production, 3 microchips, and 2 silicon wafers. And then we would have a little bit of excess of the energy cell production to be able to sell that off as a passive resource. So all those new things were bothering me, so I'm just going to mark all as red. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to build this station up. One thing that you want to note is you're also going to need docks and wharfs.
It's good to see you, friend.
So you'd want to pick up a blueprint from them as well, which is going to be the dock modules and the piers. I said wharfs, I meant piers. So starting out, I always try to go for the best one out of these. And the best one, in my opinion, is the Terran. And also the Terrans and the Borons have one of the best small medium docks in the game between those two. Argon, not so much. Your best bet is probably just getting a basic dock. You can get a luxury dock if you want, but there's really no difference between these three other than it's more luxurious. Ooh. But you could just get a basic dock. Doesn't have to be too expensive. And then you're probably best to get a short dock. And then you can get... You want to make sure that you have these. You sometimes start with instructions already. But if you want to have more, you would want to grab any of these. Wide area sensor array is very important. If you want to keep tabs on an area without dropping satellites. So you'd want to pick up a wide area sensor array if you can afford it. It is very good because it unlocks a huge radius around your ship or your station. So then you can actually see what's going on around your area before it gets too close to your base. If you're going to be attacked or anything like that, it's very good for uncovering your area. So we're going to pick up a couple of these. You don't really have to get observation decks. You can get one if you want, but it's just a place for you to go and Google at the graphical beauty of this game. But anyways, I'm rambling. I need to stop rambling. So we have it all that we need. We purchased all that. So we've spent about 10 million in just prints. So we're gonna just end that there, and then we're gonna start working on building our station up. You have your station in an area that would be really good. The AI to come and deliver goods to you so you can build it faster, and you kind of want to be close to your resource that you're going to use, also close to the place that you're going to sell it to. For instance, if I right click in this area and show encyclopedia, we can see there's ore and sunlight here. There's 367% sunlight in here, so this would be a really good place for energy. We right click in here, just have sunlight. Check in here. Sunlight. Over here. We have silicon right there. So it looks like we would want to kind of have our base probably right here. We kind of want to have it like in this area. We can check here. There's silicon here, about 1 million. So we could actually just put our base right here, and our miners can go here. You are placing your first base. You want to keep in mind that your manager is probably going to be a 1 star or less starting out. So you want to have your station as close to your sell point as possible, at least within 1 jump, and your mining place at least within 1 jump. So our best spot is going to be right here. We're going to go down here to manage plots in the bottom of your interface. We're going to click on a new plot. You kind of want to be careful with how big you make it. Because if you go and you do, like, say, the maximum that you can do, which is 20, 20, 20, 20, because you can't go more than that, and I create a plot, look at how much the cost is. It is massively expensive if you're going to put it in a owned location. You don't want to do that. You kind of want to have it out here. Because I haven't revealed this area, it's not giving it to me. So I'm going to go explore this area over here real quick so I can make it as cheap as possible. All right, so I came over here a little bit of the ways so I can actually place down my plot. If I reduce it by half, it's going to be 1 million. To reduce it slightly more, so if I do like 3 across the board, it's 200,000. I'm gonna do probably like a 8 by 8, which would be a little over 500,000. So if you get it closer, it gets more expensive, and that's because it's a priority. It's the closer you are to a gate and the highway, the more lucrative it is. So if we just go until it's the cheapest possible, right there, that is where we're going to set up our shop. All right, and we have to buy a license. If you don't buy a license, you'll slowly lose rep with the people here, and then eventually they'll come and attack your station. So if you wanted to be like a pirate and hide your base over here, get it built up with a bunch of weapons and stuff, then you could start having, you'll start losing rep with these guys passively, and then you can, have like a little war with them from your little pirate base if you wanted to. But we are being a trader in this one, so we're going to buy our license and we're going to continue. So now we are in the plan. You can name your factory up here. I'm just going to call it Microchip Heaven because we're going to take over the microchip industry here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start building our stuff out. You kind of want to start off with your docks. We're going to do our medium dock here. When you place it down, you'll get these little parameters, and you can pull them up. These are your axes. You can move it left or right. This will probably be the best way to control it for the most part. I know I mentioned it in the other video, but you can left click to go up and down, right click to look around, and then scroll wheel to zoom in. And then you can use your WASD to kind of fly around. That's your basic commands for controlling this. So I'm just going to give it a position of 90 degrees here, just so it's like in line with that, because you want to try to make it as clean as possible to your station from any hyper points. I'm going to move this down over here and place it into that. If you see it's not connecting, it's because you're not actually there. So the 3D space is kind of funky depending on what you're looking at. So you kind of have to look around to make sure that you're actually putting it in the right spot. And then you can scroll it down, and boom, there it goes. It's snapped into place. You can, if you don't want to sit here and finick with it, I like building my stations out to make them look pretty. But if you don't want to, you can click on this little cog up here and you can shuffle modules. So I'll show you how that works right now. I'll grab my 1 energy, put it just anywhere. Doesn't matter where you put it. You can do 1 microchip factory, or we're going to do 2 microchip factories and 3 silicon wafers. Or no, it's 3 microchip factories and 2 silicon wafers and 1 energy cell. That's our setup. And if you don't want to sit here and deal with all this and you want to just get it done, you can come up here and you can shuffle. If you shuffle it, it will automatically put in the little crosses if you have them. If you don't have them, it'll put in whatever you have available. So like I bought some of the stuff, but if you just have the basic, I think it just comes with like these four um parts, maybe vertical. Purchase these other parts from the vendor or the faction representative. But if you don't, whatever parts that you have, it will automatically generate it with the shuffle module. And if don't really like how it looks, you're like, it kind of looks like crap. You can just keep shuffling it, and it will keep giving you a different layout. Like this is weird. Why is the dock on the back of it? Where's the other dock at? Oh, the other dock's over there. That's really weird. We're gonna shuffle again. That's also really weird. What is this? What is this nonsense going on right here? This is funny. But yeah, you can keep shuffling and it'll eventually give you something that you might like. Or you can just grab your route. If you find your route anywhere in here, which I believe the route is non-existent. That's new. Normally, there it is. So if you take your route and you just... Oh, it looks like our route is actually right here. Yep, that's our route. When you highlight that, that's the root of everything, and you can click on it, and you can remove sequence, and that will remove everything that you built. You can also just close out this menu, and it will wipe it all out. But anyway, so we're going to go back in there. We're going to grab our energy cell. We're going to grab our basic. I'm gonna make it pretty. 90 degrees. We're going to put in our dock short. 180. Move it in, it snaps to it, and then we're going to make a microchip, silicon, and microchip. I'm just bringing these in so I have them all available. And then I'm going to bring in my other module, which is going to be, we're going to go with a P connector or a cross, because it has one on the top, one on the bottom. One thing I forgot is storage. That is kind of important. You always need storage, and I can't believe I forgot that. So after I get this built, I'm gonna get the storage modules. That's embarrassing. Don't watch this part. Editor, cut it out. When you're doing this stuff, like I'm gonna remove this, and I'm just gonna copy this module, set it here, and then I'm just gonna rotate it on the green axis to 180 degrees, and then drag it to the other side. Boom, there you go. You've kind of mirrored it. Can't ever really get it perfect. Sometimes you can. There we go. So now it's perfectly mirrored. And then I'm going to just take this and I'm going to put it right over here. Got to change my view so I can actually see it. Snap. There we go. And then I'm going to actually drag these off like so. Build that, another T-cross. Connect that to that. Oh, it's already connected. Okay. And another T-cross. Connect that there. And we'll take this guy and we will put him... Oh, my T-crosses are not correct. They're upside down. Rotate that around 180 degrees. This around 180 degrees. I copy this module, put it over here. Copy it again. Put it right there. I can remove these. And there we go. We kind of have the outline, but I have to go get the storage modules. So I'm going to confirm this. Make sure you confirm it, because if you close out without confirming it, then you have to redo it all again. So I'm going to confirm that. That's going to be the outline. I'm going to go get the storage modules real quick. Also, a little tip for you. If you just did what I did and you drifted off into space, if you go and you set yourself up like where you want to go and you hit pause, where the game pauses, and then you hit this is only if you have the SETA drive, which is SETA drive accelerates your movement. If you do SETA drive and boost while paused and you unpause it, you will SETA drive and boost at the same time. And now we're over here. That was not even sped up. That was literally the game speed. So we're back over here at the fraction representative now. We're going to pick up our blueprints, which we forgot to get some storage modules. I think in a lot of the starter plays, you actually get a small storage container with you. I didn't get one. I personally think no matter what, you should always go with the large containers. The reason is because you need a lot of space. We're not using anything liquid, so we're just going to remove that. But we're going to use container and solid because that is the two things that we need.
Good luck out there.
So if you check out your encyclopedia and then you go to station modules, you can see under the energy cells, it's not going to tell you anything. But if you view that in the encyclopedia, it tells you that it's a container. You can see what is what by doing that. You can go up here to the search. So if you're going to look for silicon, it's going to show you the silicon wafer production. It's also going to show you the wares. So silicon is a solid, silicon wafers is a container. And same for microchips. The microchip is going to be a container. The encyclopedia is going to be your best friend when it comes to building and learning a lot of things. Just because you can simply go and look at everything that it has to offer within the encyclopedia, and then you don't have to worry about any of the incorrect information on the internet. You have your source of truth right there, right in the game. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go back over here into our microchip haven. Go back into our plan build. You right click on it, click plan build, and now we're going to add our storages. So our storages is a solid and container. You could just put it like wherever you want. I'm going to do my stupid thing where I'm going to make it look pretty. Trying to snap to it when you first grab it is a little bit difficult. As you can see, it's not really like I can hover over that dot and it won't be perfectly on that dot. I can hover a little bit in front of it and it'll work, a little bit to the right. But it's a little finicky when you just pull it out. But I'm gonna put it right here, and then I'm just gonna turn it at a 90-degree angle, and I'm gonna put it underneath, like so. And then I'm gonna rotate it to a nice position that I think looks nice. I'm gonna copy that module. And I'm going to have to set it down because, as you can see, I'm having difficulty grabbing it. If I zoom out a little bit, sometimes it'll snap. But most part, it's not going to snap right where you want it. So you try to want to get it close as possible, and then you can like drag it down to where you want. The plan builder is really, really finicky. Kind of wish they would fix it, but it's whatever. So I just did 2 container storages. Now I'm going to do 2 solids, and I could just build them right off of these. So you can kind of give yourself like a little style going on here. I'm going to put it over there. You don't have to have it exactly 180. It will eventually catch it like that. And there you go. I got 2 of those and 2 of those. So now I'm going to show you another little trick. Say you wanted to have any of these you wanted your storage containers to be the first thing to be built. What you can do is you can take, for instance, this section here, remove it, let it go, and then drag it back on. And then now you have, where is it? So this right here now closer up the chain. Because this, when I took it off from the root, which the root is this basic dock, it changed the order. So for instance, if I wanted to move these containers up more, I could grab this, take it off, and then put it back on. And then that shifts these up the priority. And you can do the same thing for here. So you see how I selected that one? That one's further up the build than these storage containers. If I grab this arm, pull it off, wait a second, and then put it back on, now it moved the other containers further up the line. Do the same thing with everything else up this line. If you want these to go all the way up to the top, you can just remove that, reconnect it. And then these base connectors here kind of have to be there because it's required for your station. So like that is required. The container, that can stay there. The microchip production, you can remove it and place it back. And then you can go on the next one, remove it, place it back. And as you see, every single time you do it, it moves it up. So now we have the dock first, this second, this connection third, this storage fourth, and then you got a connector, and then into storage, and then these 2 storages. So now I've made my storages a priority, And then the next thing that I want to make a priority is my energy cell production. So if I go over here, I can see that if I just grab this whole section here and then put it back on, and this whole section over here and put it back on, now my energy cell is the next thing to be built in line with my storage containers. So my storage containers are going to be built, then my energy cell, and then my microchip production. So that's a little builder tip. If you want to try to prioritize certain things, you just remove it and add it, and you can just follow down your line here. So like your microchip action down here, you just grab this one, take it off, put it on, and so on and so forth. So just a quick little tip for you on building, because it can get a little complicated at times. But anyways, I'm going to confirm my module changes because now I have it set up the exact way I want it. And then I'm going to assign or hire a builder. There's a couple guys right here. I'm going to select this guy. Now he's going to be assigned. And then I can go over here to my manage. And I'm going to need 11 million to build this. So I'm going to accept my estimate. And then I'm going to close it out. As you can see, we already have people coming to deliver me parts. I'm going to close it out. And then I'm going to use the in-game speed up, which is the SETA drive, to speed up them building it for me. I'm going to come over here. We're going to do a little time lapse of it being built. And then I will be back whenever the station is built. I went ahead and I set up all the rules. If you want to see how everything is done in terms of logistical overview and how you set up the only me, you can go ahead and hit up the previous tutorial. I'll just do a quick little overview. I went more in depth, but if you go into your edit, you can actually create a new trade rule and you can set it the name for whatever you want it to be. And for this, I clicked restrict all faction and automatically set my faction as the only one to trade for. And then I went through and I set up all of these that my buy offer is only going to me. The sell offer, I left it unrestricted, so other factions can come and buy my energy cells off of me. Same thing with the silicon. I don't want to buy anything from anybody else. And for the microchips, it's only a sell offer. One little tip. If you leave your station account at 0, that money will automatically go into your bank account. But I purchased a couple of miners and I purchased a couple of traders. The traders will only trade within one jump. But a little tip for you, a highway is not considered a jump. So this jump gate is considered a jump. So it will go over here. but this is considered a superhighway. So this does not count as a jump. A little tip that the highways do not count as another jump. So you can also keep that in mind whenever you're doing your planning for where you're going to put your station. So now, as you can see, we actually have our first guy coming in. He's going to drop off his nice sized load of 9,800, and then we're going to start chugging away at producing our microcells. And luckily, I have a 3 large dock, so all 3 of my guys can come in. So that's kind of why you want to kind of have like your large to small ratio. So you could buy like 3 small miners, maybe 6, and then all have docks. But if you don't have enough docks, then you'll just be wasting time because they'll just be sitting there not doing anything. But you want to be optimal, and you want to just get enough miners and traders to appease what your current load. We're going to go take a look at this. We're going to go to the logistical overview. And you can see that we have our load of silicon in here. And you're going to see that it is ticking up. I'm going to speed up time a little bit. Back to the logistical overview. And eventually we will see this producing will pop up. And then you will see it pop up over here. So as you can see, now that we have a couple of wafers filled in, we are actually producing at 864 an hour. And that's if we have optimal load going. So right now we are sitting at a consumption of 24 with a production of 42. And that is because we are missing one with our modules. So now we have a steady load of silicon wafers. So it will keep producing here. So we're producing 4280. We are consuming 3600. So we should eventually get a overstock of silicon wafers. Right now, we're kind of at a min-max until it starts building up. But you can see that we are constantly at a deficit positive until this catches up and fills this up more. As you can see, it's slowly building it up. And if we look at our trade log, so right now our trade guys are saying that there's no trades allowed in the current sector. So the reason why our guy is, I just realized when I was thinking about it, the reason why we're not selling them is because we have them at a high cost. So they're not gonna take it and sell it because the sell to purchase ratio is off. So and because we have pretty much self-sufficient, we can actually reduce that, or we could look in the surrounding areas for other microchips, but they're also only buying it at 977. So if we did a proper positioning and we did proper research in the area, made sure that they actually needed it for those areas, we could. So we did not do a good job of selecting our location, but now you have a basic understanding of how to make a station. So just remember to always plan your trades out, search your area, make sure that what you're going to be making is going to be self-sustained in its current area. Probably the best place to set up a base would be in an area that's constantly at war and selling like hull parts and very common items that sell a lot. Microchips are not very good for selling, just for the simple fact that microchips are not widely used. They're used for minimal stuff, but if you did something like hull parts or any type of resource that is consistently used for like shipyards and wharfs and stuff, so like turrets, weapons, stuff of that nature, you will always have a constant flow of cash selling those types of wares. But I hope this was very informational for you guys, and hope you guys get some juicy knowledge out of this. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.